when it comes to financial literacy, how important is that to you?
On a scale of 1 to 10, or just I would say probably 7 to 8. Because I know money comes and goes. I want to say it's the most important in the world, because like then you want to make sure you're doing what makes you happy. But I do say it's pretty important in my opinion. About an 8, 7, 8 on the 10 scale.
So on that scale, how good are you with finances? Would you consider yourself a spender or more so a saver when it comes to budgeting and having money?
Yeah, well, of course, I would say when it comes to just overall, but I think it's more about, for me, I'm more of an invest. So like I'll invest if it's like something for my business, maybe my car, maybe I have this outfit I want to have, maybe I want to just. My whole thing is do what helps you grow, do what helps you get more of what you're trying to get. So I know for me, if I'm trying to get more out of my business, I need to put more money into my business, or I need to try to see what works, right? If I want to, let's say, attract more positive people or more people that are more financial literacy, I want to make sure I invest in what I have. If it's a nice suit, if it's something for my car, if it's something for a community, let's say I pay for 50 home people to eat, whatever like that, for breakfast. I give them $100. Hey, all y'all get this, whatever. That's something. Whatever's going to build my brand. So I look at it more from a concept of, if I invest in this, how is this going to help me get to where I'm looking for, or what I'm trying to get? And I think I'm a firm believer, the more you put into something, especially with a genuine heart and genuine soul, the more you get out of it. So one of my good friends is Romo Cabana, and one of my business partners. He wrote a book called Just Start: How to Overcome Your Fear of Investing. And I think a lot of times we look too broad, we look too basic. You spend, you save, but what about the investing part? How do you get to the part where you can just sit back and relax? Because my first book, Boss Up, that was money. I self-published, but that was money to invest. I didn't have the formula then. You know what I'm saying, Trey? That was money to invest. I gave a company $2,000, so I spent $5 on the first book order copies, and then I only got pre-orders by $500. So I spent like 2 something racks. I made it back real quick. But if you're so strict on your finances, you don't put that in. Put that initial investment in to learn. The thing is, this is a beautiful thing. Even though I spent 2 racks, I made the 2 racks back in like 5 weeks. But here's the thing. And the second time, I spent $100. That's it. Somebody edited my book.
Oh, I was going to say, so on your second book, it was a lot cheaper.
Well, I learned the strategy, right? So I learned how to do my own cover. I paid $50 for the cover, the book cover. I paid $50 for the interior design. One of my good friends of mine, she's a counselor at a high school, at one I went to. She edited for free. I utilized my Amazon credit card to order my first book order of books. I spent $100. $100. Right? I already had a website. I already had the LLC and the DBA. I already had the business and the website. So I just put that book on the website. I didn't have to get a landing page. None of that. So you see what I'm saying? So I created a whole book and got the first 200 copies for $100. So that's why. So the thing is, when we're one thing about financial literacy that sometimes I kind of disagree with people on is that you're paying to learn something that you can teach somebody else. I spent $100 in that process. The second time around, I've already had multiple people buy my courses. From last April to now, so many coaching clients. So let's just say on a nutshell, let's say 10,000, right? Let's say you have 10,000 and you only invested $100 to learn this whole strategy. It was stressful. It was hard, but that's how I see in the back end. So I spent $100 in a stressful 2-3 week process to teach people. Now I made up this and that just from that process.
And now you over here teaching people how they can do the same thing.
Yep, self-publish for cheap and write their first book with their purpose.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. And just getting into your books, because you are a 2-time published author. So for your first book and your second book, what inspired you to write those books?
The first book I wrote because I honestly wanted to expand my. I mean, the book is good, but it's not as specific as the second one. I was ready to make more money and spend my brand. I'm gonna be super honest with you. That's the first. I wanted to spend my brand and faster and make more money. I said, how am I going to really get to where I want to get to? And that was it. Of course, what also inspired me is my story, what I've been through, those things. But if you want to be on the selfish note, I wanted to spend my brand. I want to make more money. But on a note, when it comes to the people, I want to show people that it's possible to make changes and sustain the change over time.
Awesome. And that goes for what, the first book, correct?
Yeah, Boss Up.
Okay. And then the second book, you were saying it's a story behind that?
Yeah, the second book actually is a little more, it's more practical, it's more purposeful, it's more structured. The Truth Always Wins. I really trying to help people become more fulfilled and reduce their stress. And you know what? I'm pretty sure you heard of this guy. It's so funny because now I'm not no dating expert. That's not who I am. But how he spits reality to people, Kevin Samuels, is beautiful. Because my book, The Truth Always Wins, is so important because a lot of times we operate on a frequency that we're not even performing at. I mean, we're thinking, or we're desiring the frequency from others that we're not performing at, that we're not putting out there. So it's like the truth always wins. That's how you really become fulfilled, because you're actually understanding, hey, this is what I'm capable of right now. This is what I have to bring to the table. And when you have the skewed perspective of what you bring to the table, what happens is you end up getting your butt hurt. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say for this. Now, we all go through pain and stresses in our life. So the title is The Truth Always Wins, Becoming Fulfilled, Reducing Stress. But if you want to live a happier life and fulfilled life, sometimes it's okay to, it's not lower your expectations. It's identifying it's not lower your expectations. It's more, I say more identifying, having healthy expectations. A lot of times I say, I'm not selling. I'm not lowering, man. I'm not doing it. I'm not, It's not about that. Because here's the thing, Trey. I had a bigger apartment. This apartment is for this. I had a bigger apartment, like 300 square feet bigger, until 2019. And I put in this as a second book. And I downgraded because I wanted to invest in my business, not knowing that the pandemic started 3 months after. You see what I'm saying? So like, sometimes you just never know. And so I think like me living in my truth allowed me to stay. So you cannot. It's hard to sustain success, a well-mind, a nice, healthy life without living your truth. Because eventually stuff gonna come. But if you know how to live in your truth, say this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm able. You gotta be able to be honest with yourself. Because when you start doing that, you realize even though it may not always look the best on the outside, but on the inside, come on, let's be honest. There's been times where you got friends, and you got somebody you dating, and you just not peaceful inside. You just like, man, I got too much going on. You stressed out. Like, is it really worth that much? And one thing I realized, whenever you live in your truth, you're gonna attract assets, way more assets and liabilities, because you're not even gonna allow yourself to even let a liability become a liability, because you're living in your truth. But let me stop preaching.
You know what I'm saying? Man, you talking, man. Speaking facts over here. Speaking facts. Yeah. Definitely. And so with you being an author, is that something that came about, like you said, because you wanted to make some money, or is that something that you kind of had in your mind since a young age?
No, I didn't have my mind. I didn't have speaking in my mind until later on. But author, like I said, it came about when I started to first really like speak. I was speaking at lounges, career days, like summer events for kids. I was just doing everything. I was like, man, throw me out there, coach. You know what I'm saying? And now the real, I said, I'm speaking at these free to low paying gigs. You know what I'm saying? Which I didn't care at the time. I had a full-time job. I'm sure I still do therapy a lot, but I was doing more then. And I was like, what can I do when I go to these events? So how can I inspire people more? How can I reach out more? The book is going to expand your brand better. You can give to influencers. So I end up running to Mike Jones in Dallas. He lives in Dallas. Mike Jones lives in Dallas. Right. I ended up running him the year I published the book. My first book, I was somewhere at a cafe in Dallas, and he came from the bathroom, and me and my friend was with him. And I ended up, hey, you doing? I love your music, man. You're such a legend. Here's my book, man. I would love for you to even take it, man. He said, oh, man, I saw you at Starbucks over there with your homie. I was like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I think, man, just looking at it that way, man, expand my brand, man, and definitely make more money. But I think that year was I was ready. I wrote the book, the rough draft, in 6 weeks. I was like, man, I'm ready to get out there, because it's so hard when you're trying to speak and you don't have nothing to offer. I was like, how do I build without having either something to sell or something to give? Yeah, I can give my time. That's all cute and dandy. But what if I go? And the first time I had my book and I spoke somewhere, I sold like 40 copies. So then I sold them some people paid 15, some people paid 20, but ultimately let's say 40, let's say 20, right? $800. You know what I'm saying? Let's say at profit wise, that's profit like $500. So I made $500 just off my just having books there, profit. You know what I'm saying? So people don't think that, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, no, when you speak for 10 minutes and you make $5 and they were already paying you and you got this extra exposure and now people want to leave. Like those are the things that happens when you just on purpose. When you just like, no, I'm just gonna go out there, I'm gonna try. That's kind of my process, man, how I got started. That's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, man. I knew the book was gonna allow me to get where I wanted to get to at that level. Now I'm going to the next level, which is even harder, but we're gonna get there.
No, definitely. And I also love the fact that you have these multiple streams of income because you're showing people the way. You're showing them, you can't just limit yourself to just one side. So, do you have any favorite books or favorite authors?
Yeah, I got a lot of books right over here on this under my TV. Actually, I want to give credit when credit's due. I like Amy Morin. Her book was I can't remember the name exactly. It's about 13 things mentally tough people do, right? Or don't do it and don't do. And she just wrote her first kid, but she also had a TEDx talk that blew up to as well. I like one of the books I really like, a business book. I can't remember the author of it, but Contagious. That's the one Nipsey Hussle read before he did that his mixtape. He charged like $100 for that. Jay-Z bought like 10 of them, something like that. I like that book. I do like what's his name? I like Brandon Bouchard. High Performance Habits was a really good book. There's another book that I read that I really like. I cannot remember his name. He's a shorter white guy, glasses. He does.
Kiyosaki?
Oh no, not him. He wrote a book called Millionaire Success Habits. I'm gonna look it up. I gotta give him credit when credit's due. I got to. This dude was off the chain, and that book really like opened up a lot of things mentally. And also give up for Trent Shelton. The Greatest You. That was an excellent book too. Oh, Dean Graziosi.
Okay. And what book is that he wrote?
Millionaire Success Habits.
Okay.
Yeah, that book was fire because it teaches you how to sell, how to win. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the books I read, man, are self-help and then how to sell. Because if you understand people and you know how to sell, oh my God, you'll be a monster.
Definitely, I agree, and that's why I'm asking you these questions too, because these books not only gonna help me, but also other people that's watching my channel.
Mm-hmm.
So